Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an advanced Dungeons and Dragons monster video. I hadn't done one of these in a while. And I'm doing this one on the lizards. Now, I was in the game I'm running now. There's a lot of younger players, and it struck me that a lot of these younger players these days don't have patience. And and it's not a failing in them; it's a failing in our society. Nobody has patience these days. Nobody can sit back and relax and enjoy the build up. Everybody, they want everything now, and they want it all. They want it now. So I came up with the idea of doing this one on an alternative to monsters that they want to meet that'll kill them outright. Here we go. Lizards. Most younger players get into tabletop gaming because at some point they look forward to facing a dragon in an epic battle worthy of song and maybe a few stories. The downside is that most low-level player characters are fodder for even the weakest of dragons. I've lost count of the number of new players who become disillusioned and impatient building a player character to a level appropriate to face a real dragon. Many such players even grow tired of waiting and quit playing altogether. This can be a serious, serious concern. After all, the game needs new players. If we don't find young players to continue this, tabletop gaming dies out. That we have to find young players and cultivate them. We need to find young players who have an imagination. We need to cultivate that imagination. We need to make sure that they're interested, because without it, tabletop gaming goes away. Okay? It is important to keep the younger players interested, and to do that, you must present them with mysteries and opposition that piques that interest. Spelunking and exploring old ruins is fun and will take them far, to be sure, but the opposition they face must be more than mere thugs, bandits, and enemy soldiers. I tend to forget that sometimes. I'm used to playing with adults who are into the game. I tend to run a lot of soldiers and things like that. My games are very down to earth, and I got to get out of that. The opposition must also be balanced by not overwhelming the young players, but by giving them monsters that can challenge them, but they can still defeat. Enter the lizards. There are 4 varieties listed in the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual on pages 61 and 62. The giant lizard is a 3+1 hit die monster and comes in groups of 2 to 12. This is a good match for a group of player characters leveled 3 to 5 with better than average capabilities. That it's a reasonable threat level for them. Subterranean lizards come in groups of 1 to 6. They have 6 hit dice. They should pose a reasonable opposition to that same group of player characters. Note the climbing abilities of the lizards and their ability to attack from above, preferably with surprise. These things tend to blend into the rocks, so if they're in the darkness up in the roof of the cavern, and the player characters walk underneath, that could be a nice surprise for them. Minotaur lizards come in groups of 1 to 8 with 8 hit dice. They have 3 attacks, and these lizards should pose reasonable opposition to a group of player characters of 8th level or so. These lizards, because you want to mix different monsters in as well. If you run them just against lizards or just against dragons or just against men, it gets old. These lizards can be extremely dangerous. So I'm talking about the monitor lizards. So don't... The Minotaur monitor lizards? Anyway, they can be extremely dangerous, so don't be too hard on player characters who decide to retreat in haste. Yeah, they can be quite nasty, and if the battle's going against them, if they're not rolling well, the smart thing to do is to run away. Especially find a choke point where you can face these things one at a time or whatever, Finally, fire lizards, also called false dragons, can fulfill those younger players' fantasies of epic showdowns with dragons without actually overpowering them with actual real dragons. Fire lizards share many traits of red dragons, like breathing fire and immunity to fire, but they don't fly and they don't use magic. They may share a common ancestry, as I understand it. Still, though, younger players probably won't know the difference, and 1 to 4 of these should make an epic showdown for them. Remember, the whole point of tabletop role-playing is to have fun. You don't want to overwhelm the players, but you want to challenge them. If they're not being challenged, they'll get bored. If they're being overwhelmed, they'll get disheartened. You got to find that balance, and I've talked about this in other videos. So yeah, lizards can be a nice balance there for you. So check out those monsters. I suggest you read through them very thoroughly before you use them in your game. They're on page... let me find it. 61 and 62 of the Monster Manual, the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual. So go check those out and see if it's something you might want to use in your game. Hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all.